And yes, it's Car Musings, and you're tuning in to the best podcast, the best show, with the hostess with the mostest. Yes, it's Matt Morgan, and this is Car Musings. Yay! How you doing out there today? How's it going? How's it shaking, bacon, and all that fun stuff? So it's another fun day. I'm running on fumes, burning the candle at both ends, but I figured I'd check on in with my regulars and say hello. And how you doing today? Keeping your integrity in check? That's the question. That's the question. So, anyways, here it is another day. I hope everything's good on your end of things. I mean, my end is just keeping busy and trying to rebuild. That's kind of where I'm at. But you know what? We got to do what we got to do. We have to build a life for ourselves. We have to do what we can to fill in the gaps, to figure it all out, and make life what we need it to be. And don't let the pitfalls get to you. Don't let the pitfalls get to you. Right? You really have to tighten the belts. You have to hunker down. You have to really, really get in there and go, yeah, all right, I got this. I'm not letting anybody get me down. I'm not letting them bring me down. I'm going to survive. I'm going to persevere. And that's what it comes down to. Life gets tough, I agree. I'll tell you, I met some really interesting people lately in my travels, and I'll tell you, don't judge a book by its cover. These are very interesting people, and it's really bizarre to hear their viewpoints on some things because it's really unexpected. You wouldn't expect minorities to support Trump. That was kind of interesting. You wouldn't expect certain heritages and certain backgrounds to go together, but you just never know. You can't look at somebody and go, yeah, I figured you out. You really got to sit down and talk to somebody and say, hey, that's pretty neat. I didn't realize that piece fit to that piece and everything else. So do yourself a favor. Do yourself a favor. Open your mind to the possibilities and then go from there. That's my best advice I can give for today. Is just open yourself to the possibilities. So I'm on a new adventure, trying out something new, trying out something that hopefully is going to get my family back in black, so to speak, and back on top of things. So I'm happy about this. Now, this is going until March, these episodes, so, anybody that wants to sabotage me again, fuck them. Because, well, guess what? It's a month later, and by the time you hear this, I'm very well established and set. So, good luck. Good luck. Because I will have a solid foundation at that point. I will be back in the saddle, and you can just kiss my ass. That's kind of what it comes down to. Kiss my ass. I'm coming for you. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. I have not forget the people that put me here and that didn't help get me out. So today, what do I want to talk about? Well, I really want to talk about diversity, and I just find that's very interesting, the diversity. You can't automatically give somebody the credit because they look a certain way or act a certain way or, speak a certain way. In my last episode, if you listened about fake people and how they put on a whole facade, it's true. But the genuine people usually talk with passion. They're usually very down to earth, very passionate, very much on the fly with things. They don't really think a lot about what they're saying in the sense that they basically just let it fly. They let it rip. They don't double think everything. They just put it out there. And that's usually somebody you can tell, especially when they're especially when they're fighting themselves. Like, I'm fighting myself today. I got like 2 hours of sleep. My nighttime gig ran a little later. I didn't get home till 3 in the morning. Then I had to get up first thing, and I had to go to some training seminars, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, I'm all over the place. I managed to pull it together, pull the day off, which is good. I'm happy about this. But it doesn't make it easier, when when you are hurt and you're feeling it physically, right? You're feeling it like, oh, I'm so freaking tired. I can't keep my eyes open, and I'm dragging my ass, and this and that, and yeah. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at today. I'm like, ugh, ugh. But I'm powering through, and I guess I made a good impression. I'm hoping I did. I'm hoping I did. I mean, I know I have to curb a few things. I know I have to curb helping people. That's one thing. I keep having to be reminded. I did it again today. I'm sitting there like, we're getting into these scenarios and everything else, and then the guy I'm working with and all that stuff. He's like, you know, he kind of finds a weak point, and I'm like, okay, I see the weak point, and automatically, like autopilot, because it's in my character to do so. I pitch in and go, hey, try this, and I'm like, fuck, seriously, like Matt Morgan, stop it. You're you're boosting everybody else, you're giving everybody else the knowledge, and you're hurting yourself because you're making them look good and you're giving them the fuel. And in the long run, you know where that gets you because you've been fucked over time and time again. You've promoted people, you've pushed them up, you've give them the ins and outs, like valuable knowledge that basically put you in the back of the line, and they got pushed to the front of the line, so you can't do that. But it doesn't mean you should write everybody off. It doesn't mean you should do that. You just really sometimes have to be thinking about yourself, regardless of the good people, regardless of the personalities, regardless of, you know, your sense of people. Because I met some good people over the years that frankly seemed good at the beginning. As we said in the last episode, it's like, yeah, but they're fucking assholes. In the long run, the other shoe drops, you see the true colors, and it's just like, you really are an asshole. Wow. All right. That's not good. So, unfortunately, it's either you cut off everybody or you roll with you take a chance. And I'm not going to write off everybody, but I am going to stop promoting people moving forward. I'm really have to work on that. That's something I have to learn to be more of an asshole. Because I've come to the realization that the assholes are the ones that are surviving, the assholes are the ones that are getting ahead, and you know, you just have to do that. Unfortunately, you just have to become an asshole. So, you know, a lot of us nice guys, we're just there's going to be less and less of us. So, when the world turns to a whole bunch of self-serving assholes, and you know, that's all that's left, just remember, yeah, you contributed to that. Those of you that are already assholes. Just saying. Just saying. Diversity though is fun. I love it. I love hearing about people's history. I love meeting people from different cultures and different viewpoints and them sharing their viewpoints, especially when they come from other parts of the world and then they compare it to where they're at now. And for us in North American society, it's just seems the norm, right? But hearing it from another side, and you hear it and you're like, really? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's kind of neat that, you know, there's a different way to think about these things. There's a different way to go about doing things. Because you never really would have thought of that because we're always conditioned to be the way that we are, right? So, it's neat when you hear it from different things. I met this gentleman recently from Nigeria, and North American culture, we hear about the Nigerian prince giving away money, and it's just, you think beggars and thieves and everything else, but you don't really think that there's a whole higher element to that. And I tell you, I've been proven time and time again that you can't just put everybody in the same basket. And this gentleman was excellent. He's young, he's ambitious, and but just really, really good people. and I really liked it. It was really, really cool. I mean, I just like hearing his viewpoints on it. And I try to give him some survival tips. Again, I got to stop doing that, and in how to survive in North American society and what also to expect. The meanness, the cruelness, the bullshitness that happens, and hopefully he can avoid them himself. But you know, I'm feeling a little bit more. I don't know. I'm feeling better, and I'll tell you, I'm feeling better about the fact that any position, like the shit that came down 2 years ago, the shit that came down 2 years ago, and I losing that job, it wasn't me. It wasn't me that was the problem, and it wasn't me. It's not getting hired because I'm looking at this guy going, damn, okay, so you check the boxes. You're part of this demographic. You're this, you're that, and I'm sitting there going, huh. Uh, you're this, you're that, and everything else, and you can't find a job? What? How can you not find a job? You have the style, you have the charm, you have the professionalism, you have all this going for you, and you're having a difficulty. I'm like, all right, well, this kind of throws my theory out the window, about this, that, and everything else. But I just feel better about myself because it's like, damn, this is not because of me. This is not my doing. This reaffirms the fact is that I was a victim of jealousy and assholery. I mean, I feel good about that. I feel good about that. I mean, I do, but I don't. But, when you look at people that are more established than you are, and they're in a similar position that you are, you kind of sit back and you go, huh, okay, I'm feeling good now. I am feeling good now because I know for a fact that this is not on me. This is not me that's to blame on this. This is completely not me to blame on this. So, anyways, it's interesting. What I recommend is don't shy away from meeting people of different walks of life. Don't put them all in the same basket. Don't mix them all as being the same type and everything else. You know, really, really reach out and hear their story. Hear where they're from. Hear their experiences. Hear their viewpoints. Otherwise, you're just going to deny yourself an opportunity to learn, and that's just not doing you any favors. Like, reach out for an opportunity to learn about these new things, these new experiences, these new ways of thinking, and these new people and all that stuff like that. That's the biggest thing I could recommend for people to do because, as I said, there's so much of a world out there that we only see things from our point of view. We don't see it from everybody's point of view. We don't always see it with the same clarity as other people do. So it'd be kind of nice to actually, you know, um, consider another way, right? Consider another viewpoints. I don't know. That's just the way I look at it. Consider another way, another viewpoint. Consider something that's a little different than what you're used to, and just you know adopt it into your own mental Rolodex of things. Because I don't know, there's just so much out there. There's so much out there that you know, and so many interesting people. I've been blessed about being in this current venture and meeting these people that I've been meeting, and I'm like, okay, this is interesting, right? And I'm pretty sure they're getting a feel, for a certain type of personality, a certain approachability, which I think is kind of neat. And they really hit the nail on the head when it comes to how they're doing this, because I'm in a room and I'm talking to these people, and I'm like, all right, you guys all got the same gumption. You all got the same goals about you. The same everything. I don't know. It's just really interesting how some leaders of industry, some entrepreneurs, some people can actually um, gauge people, right? Better, and not just take anybody. They actually take selective people, you know? It's just I don't know. I just think it's kind of neat. I think it's kind of neat that people can actually get a read on people like that. For me, I don't know. For me, it's interesting. I mean, I just like analyzing people. I like experiencing people. I like getting an idea for people, and going from there. Yeah, people are interesting. Take your time to learn about some new people. But that's the best advice I can give you. Take some time to learn about some new people, and embrace them. Don't judge them. Don't automatically jump to conclusions on them. You know, that's the best gift you can do. I don't know. I've been fortunate enough to meet some people that are good. Unfortunately, you know, there's been people that I've met that have a sense of honor culturally, but then end up being assholes, right? And unfortunately, people change like that, and you wish that they wouldn't. You wish that they would be better. You wish that they would stay with the true sense of what they are, but you can't always get that, right? You can't always get people that are going to get over there, bitch. Seriously, fucking asshole. So, you know, you got to roll the dice once in a while. You just really got to roll the dice once in a while, but don't limit yourself. Don't judge. Don't judge. Sit down. Get to know somebody. Ask them about themselves. I don't know. I just think I had to share that with you. Anyways, I am babbling because, as I said, I'm running on fumes today. I'm trying to, you know, really get on top of things. Trying to keep myself, moving forward. It's, you know, I'm pretty sure you have listened enough to my podcasts, and even yourself have went through these experiences when you have setback after setback after setback, how it gets very frustrating, almost depressing. I could understand. I read an article the other day about suicide rate is like 80% of them are white males that basically were put in a situation where they couldn't have meaningful employments or value or jobs or being able to support their families and everything else that took their lives. And it's unfortunate that people are put into that situation without consideration. It's unfortunate that all the elements are not considered when a company decides to axe somebody that has mouths to feed and responsibilities, and they basically put somebody that's put in a situation to a harder go of it when they could have let go somebody else that could have had an easier go at recovery. But at the same side of that, with today's topic, not to rehash woes me, Mad Oregon type bullshit. At the same token, when I say about diversity, meaning people from other places and embracing them, yeah, some of them do have a tough go of it and actually do want to build a life for themselves. They're not just leeches. They're not just coming to your country and actually trying to just drain it of all its resources and milk it for all it's worth. They are actually trying to build a meaningful life and be self-sufficient. So get to know them because they're not all the same. They're not all the same. Now, some of them will play the game and feed you a line of bullshit, for the longest time in order to stay on the right side of things. But the other ones are completely genuine, right? And you really have to take a time to actually get to know those genuine ones and assist them, embrace them, help them out, help them get to their goals. But don't sacrifice your own goals and your own well being for that. Learn from my lessons, all right? Learn from my lessons. I put people in positions where I got squeezed out. So don't do the mistakes I did. Always put yourself and your loved ones first before anything else, right? Just remember that. Yourself and your loved ones first. That's what matters. As much as you want to help out others, yeah, save yourself first. You know, save yourself first. As much as you want to help, you can't do it. And I gotta listen to my own words moving forward. I really do. You know, I really do. So, anyways, learn about new people. You'll benefit yourself as well, and also educate you and humble you. and it'll actually help you see things a little clearer, because some people have a rougher go of it than in North American society. Some of them have a really steep climb in order to build a life that they want. And, you know, if you can help them out in any way, hopefully they appreciate it, you know. But do it. Do it. Makes you feel good at the end of the day, but, you know, who knows where it leads down the road. I mean, I've always said people, I mean, I've been pushing up people for years, decades actually. So, you know, as much as I've always said, hey, don't forget me when you're big, well, some people have come back on me on that and actually reached out to me when they reached big. But again, lip service, as we've talked about in previous episodes. I had a gentleman actually that worked for that company that asked me years ago, and he's actually, you know, doing very successful with them in the position he's in. And he reached out to me. He goes, "Hey, I remember you. You mentored me back in the day. You were like, you know, you were awesome. You helped me get to where my career was and everything else." And I'm like, "Oh, congratulations, as you are in your multi-million dollar house. I'm glad I was part of that journey. Why don't you give me something back?" Nope. Unfortunately, people will use you up. But don't be that way. It helps out somebody else reach their goals, as long as it's not sacrificing yourself. All right, I'm babbling. It's yeah. I'm gonna wrap this up. I am exhausted. I'm gonna go home, have some chow mein chicken, and I am probably gonna get a few hours so I can get back to the slave and grind later on tonight, and hopefully it's a quiet night so I could put my feet up and, you know, get a little relaxed before I start the back to back to back to back to back to this, that, and everything else. All right. Love you. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you being here. It's been another episode of Car Musings. I'm your host, Matt Morgan. I will see you next episode. Oh, yeah. Take care until then. Bye for now.